Are you one of those people who suffer from electromagnetic hypersensitivity, fatigue, tiredness, stress, brain fog, aches and pains? What if I told you that you can soak your way into serenity? Soak in Serenity, our new herbal bath formula, is known to soothe anxiety, relieve stress and fatigue in just one bath. Visit our store at blacksunrise.com/herbs-page. Remember to spell sunrise SONRISE. Into more Black news, we get to the African American news, and this is a big story, very sensitive story, regarding Gail King and her interview about Kobe Bryant and the things that were said. I'm going to read you a short excerpt from the article. And this is what they're saying. This article is on Black Sunrise News. Now, I source news from credible sources. Now, the issue is their spin and their interpretation is just that. It's not mine. Okay? So don't think this is me. Gail King did what every good journalist is supposed to do, her job. We're going to read you a short excerpt and then I'm going to give you my opinion. Gail King is just a journalist. I don't believe that. I don't believe you're just a journalist. This is not a defense. I'm glad you said that. It's just a statement of fact. If you're a journalist, you aren't prepared for people to hate you, even violently so, because of the questions you dare to ask, you are in the wrong profession. You also must be prepared for the organization that employs you to market the questions you ask and responses they elicit with the goal of drawing maximum attention, keywords, to the content it is dedicated to monetizing, keywords, via the generation of ratings, keywords, or readership or web traffic. These are keywords. Ad revenue. That's why I said at the opening when they said Gail King is just a journalist. But when we dig into the article, reading an excerpt, we see that they go into the people who control the Gail Kings. Okay? They said you must also be prepared for the organization that employs you. Not the Gail Kings, but the organization. And what they do is they frame the argument. Can I get a witness? So Gail King is the face of the organization who frames the argument. And what do? They frame the argument with a specific goal. Look at this. Drawing maximum attention to the content. Dedicated to monetization via generation of ratings or readership or web traffic and ad revenue. So Gail King is the face of a much greater beast. Gail King is the one who's taking the heat. But as we delve into the article, we see that the framing of how she chose, not her, but how her organization chose to illuminate Kobe Bryant at the time of his death, which is distasteful, but we're going to get into that. Okay? After his death, and the only thing they can say about Kobe Bryant is his acquittal from an alleged rape charge, and drilling and digging into that. So what is the psychology behind this? We see that the psychology behind the black boogeyman uses the face of a black baiter. That's the first thing you have to see when you read the article, right? In order for them to generate money, okay, distastefully, they figured out a key ingredient is to look like you got to have someone who looks like the community you intend to vilify, and the vilification will then create maximum viewership, which in turn produces revenue. Everyone's missing this. So they're bashing Gail King, who is the image they selected. And I'm not taking sides with Gail King because they were distasteful when it came to Michael Jackson. Absolutely distasteful. And they didn't say a peep to their friend Harvey Weinstein. That's not journalism. And we haven't heard a peep regarding Epstein. There's a lot of Steens. Anyway, so they've created a formula. The formula is simple, okay? Just like there are molecules to water, there is a formula for them to make money. And I keep telling black people this. Their formula to make money and to parasite off of you is black rage. They don't care if your feelings are hurt. They know when they push your button, they know black people will react in one of two ways: rage or forgiveness. And black people always fall for the trap. Gail King's in the hot seat. We went after her. Gail King being in the hot seat is making them money. That's the formula. Use someone who's black to vilify the black community. The black community is not going to come after the people who created the narrative. They're going to go after Gail King. And while Gail King is asking these questions crafted by the people behind the curtain, black people are only going to get enraged at their image because they can't get to the man behind the curtain. And while black people are fighting Gail King, who did not craft this agenda, the man behind the curtain makes the bucks. Because they know when you push black buttons, there are two responses: anger and forgiveness. Black Sunrise, waking the masses off their asses. Let's continue. Okay. This life is not for those who need to be liked or popular. The best of my profession know that we have to be willing to put it on the line and know that we often pay the price. So these are journalists speaking for doing so. We know that we will be targets of criticism and blame, especially when we are wrong, but also even when we're not. Okay, so they're trying to say that the issue of journalism is being on the front line. But here's the thing. There's an editor. The editor is the one who says, frame questions this way, frame the argument, put this lighting on them, speak with this intonation. The production crew should be full frontal focus. No, focus on the side. No, show my face. No, focus on their feet. There's a production crew and there's an editor. Before you get to the journalist, especially a journalist being paid $11 million, there's a whole handler's crew that goes into framing an argument. So your anger and your outrage, even though Gail King should not have taken the bait, when is Gail King gonna do an exclusive on the South African school that her partner started where the young girls were being raped? You don't hear anything on that. I'm not saying Gail King is guilty. What I'm saying is Gail King took the bait to throw someone in a distasteful manner under the bus to keep her $11 million. But Gail King is not the orchestrator of this. It's the man behind the curtain. Black people, your anger and your ire is in the wrong direction. Because all they'll do is throw Gail King under the bus. Okay? And then it's going to be off to another bunch of black people they're throwing under the bus. Black people, you always miss the mark with these bait and switch stories. They always put someone familiar. Use them. Pay them a little extra dollars. Set them up in a way that they're going to fall. And then after they fall, you know what happens? they make the big bucks. Because now everyone's talking about that interview about Gail King and Kobe Bryant and how distasteful it is. And they're going ching ching, ching ching, ching ching. You're attacking the wrong person. I'm going to say this again. You are attacking the wrong person. You need to ask, who's the editor that authorized this? Who allowed these frame of questioning? You know it has to make the editor's cut, right? Who edited it to look like that? How much money did her organization make from the fallout using a dead man who was acquitted? Then we get into the legal perspective, something called double jeopardy or double indemnity. If a person is acquitted, not saying that they're going to try him a second time, but there's something called the court of public opinion. If someone dies in a plane accident with a family member and other family members, it is highly distasteful that you go to try them in a court of public opinion after they're dead. How do I know? I was thrown under the bus, so I know how they operate in the media. Okay, so he got acquitted via legal jurisprudence, but then you try him after he's dead in the court of public opinion. There's a backlash against Gail, but it's her corporation that's raking in the money because they crafted that story the way they did. Whether the publicity is good publicity or negative publicity, they knew that publicity right after Kobe Bryant's death would be a hot button for the black community that will bring them ratings. Now, what's the solution? I don't have any. But what I can say is this. Black people, you got to see when you're being played sometimes. And your outrage is making your enemies rich. Think about that. You could read the article on blacksunrise.com. And the article is called Gail King Did What Every Good Journalist Is Supposed to Do, Her Job. I'm not taking Gail King's side. I am saying it's the people behind Gail King who crafted this. Used Gail King, and Gail King for $11 million allowed herself to be used against the black community she knew backlash was going to come, and her bosses are making the coins. Black people, stop losing in both directions. Black Sunrise, waking the masses off their asses.